Hey, my man of God is Dr. Joe Martin here with Real Men Connect, where we help good men become great men God's way by providing real answers to real problems in the real world. Welcome to the Real Men Ride Along. God's got a question to ask you today. Are you enabling evil? Are you enabling evil? Now, what do I mean by that? What I'm asking you is, do you allow people to get away with pretty much murder? Now, we're not talking about actually committing a felony. I'm talking about committing murder. As far as they get away with murder, you let them do things. And now God has asked us to be forgiving. I know you may be forgiving. God asks us to be merciful, to show grace and mercy. And we should do that. But at the same time, are we doing it to an extent where there are no consequences for the crimes that people commit against us? So are there things going on in your life, things, maybe it could be your kids, maybe it could be your wife, maybe it could be a friend, that they continue to abuse the grace that you extend them, that they abuse the grace that you extend, they abuse the mercy, they mistake your kindness for weakness. See, that's what I call enabling evil. Now, evil is maybe a harsh word, but you know what I'm talking about. When the things, they keep repeating the same things against you over and over again. But here's my point. Stop it. All right? And I'm going to tell you why it's so important to stop it and how you stop it. You got to allow people to live with the consequences of their choices. That's all you got to do. Let them live with the consequences of their choices. See, the key is their choices. What you do is whatever it is that you desire from people, the relationship that you desire from, you have to set what we call boundaries. And what are boundaries? Boundaries are just rules of engagement of how people are to treat you and how you to treat people, but there's mutual respect for the relationship. There's mutual respect for the relationship. But you can't do that if you don't set boundaries. And if you allow people to break those boundaries without any ramifications, without any consequences, in a sense, you are enabling evil. Let's think about the Garden of Eden. And God, who created man out of his own image, created woman out of his own image, and he put them in the garden. But God also gave them boundaries. And the healthy boundaries that God gave Adam and Eve was that you can eat from any tree, any fruit from any tree in the garden except for one, that is the knowledge of good and evil. Because if you do, you will surely die. He was talking about a spiritual death. In other words, if you eat from any other tree in this garden, there are consequences if you do not respect my boundaries. There are consequences. And what did Adam and Eve do? They disrespected God's boundaries. Now, God, in his loving mercy and kindness, didn't condemn them and send them straight to hell when he did that. God had provision even after they did that to have Jesus come down to represent him and save us from our sins. So even after Adam and Eve broke the boundaries, God was able to redeem them and reconcile them back to himself and reconcile all of us back to himself. However, the key is God did not spare them from the consequences. Basically, what I'm telling you is this. If you want people to treat you right, you got to train them on how to respect your boundaries. And how do you train them to respect your boundaries? That you give them choices to make that's going to strengthen your relationship. You give them choices that's going to feed your relationship, make it stronger. But you need to communicate to them in a very clear way that if you do not respect these boundaries, there are consequences. And the hardest part is following through on those consequences. So how do you do that? Look at it from a different perspective. If I don't allow you to live with the consequences of your choices, that means I'm enabling you to continue to do evil. Say that one more time. If I don't communicate to you clearly the boundaries, and I don't allow you to live with the consequences of your choices to break those boundaries, then in a sense, I am enabling you to continue to do evil. Man, I'm hoping this blesses you. A simple concept, but we need to hear it, especially as parents. And you probably need to share this with your wife, because mothers struggle with this, of allowing kids to deal with the consequences of their choices. My background in education, I can see what it leads to if you don't do it. So I'm telling you, don't enable evil. Allow people to live with the consequences of their choices, but set the boundaries that's going to protect and strengthen the relationship. If this helped you, please share this with another brother who you may be mentoring or discipling. And in the meantime, as always, stay strong, stay blessed, and stay connected, because real men connect. Most importantly, Stay in God's grip. Talk to you soon.